Hey, people. Everyone's always saying MAGA this and MAGA that. I think it's time we actually let everyone know what being a MAGA conservative means. Now, just to be clear, I'm a MAGA conservative, but that doesn't mean what a lot of you apparently think it does. Spoiler, not every conservative is the same, but most of us I know share these same principles. 1. I believe America should never depend on another country for energy, or protection, or basic supply and demand. We are strongest when we build, produce, and protect things right here in the USA. 2. I believe America must put itself first. We cannot pour from an empty cup. Our country should prioritize our own people before trying to save the world. 3. I believe America should stay out of endless foreign conflicts. We aren't the world's sugar daddy, and we shouldn't act like it. 4. I believe no foreign aid should be given until every veteran here at home is taken care of. 5. I believe immigrants make America stronger when they come legally. If your first act in this country is breaking the law, you aren't an upstanding citizen. 6. You can marry who you want, and your life is not mine to judge. I believe in your basic Judeo-Christian beliefs. 7. I believe men are men and women are women. Surgery or hormones don't change that. Men should use men's bathrooms and women should use women's bathrooms based on chromosomes. 8. I believe schools are for education, not indoctrination. Kids should learn math, history, reading, and science, not political propaganda. They should not be taught they were born in the wrong body or pushed into gender delusion. 9. I believe America is in a mental health crisis. Mental health care is real, it matters, and it desperately needs to be addressed. 10. I believe guns aren't the problem, people are. Gun control only infringes on constitutional rights, but I also believe in common sense. Background checks are necessary to keep firearms out of the hands of the mentally ill. I'm a conservative because I believe in faith, family, freedom, and personal responsibility. I don't want government that controls every aspect of our lives. I want a government that protects our rights, secures our borders, defends our freedoms, and then gets the hell out of the way. We are strongest when Americans take care of America first, when families are supported, when our veterans are honored, and when our children are given truth, not propaganda. I love this country, and I believe it's worth fighting for. You all agree? Share this, let's hear it in the comments, and may God bless you and yours. Peace out, people.
If Trump says we must invade Iran, MAGA supports it. If Trump says we must not invade Iran, MAGA supports it. If tomorrow Trump says tariffs are bad, MAGA supports it. Tariffs are good, MAGA supports it. This is a cult. And when Trump says, I decide what MAGA is, that's one of the rare moments in the day when he's not lying. It's true. Donald Trump decides what MAGA is. There's no consistent philosophy. Don't be fooled. At the last election, the Republican Party didn't even put out a plank. They didn't put out a policy platform. They said whatever Trump says. That's a cult. That's the definition of a cult.
What moment happened for you that made you say, it's for sure a cult?
Oh, very early on.
Really?
So late 2015. 2015.
Oh, interesting.
So the moment I knew it was a cult, the people behind him, I didn't know the entire party would become a cult, but I knew that he had cultivated a cult. Do you remember he was sitting on stage and he said, John McCain, he wasn't a war hero. I like war heroes who didn't get captured.
He's not a war hero.
War hero.
He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured.
I was like, everyone's like, ooh, his campaign's over. You can't say that about a war hero in the
someone who served
Republican
the
Party.
American country. Yeah.
Trump got away with this. Poll ratings went up. That was the moment I was like, oh, wow, this guy's Teflon. This guy can say whatever he wants and get away with it.
I was over at my parents' house the other day. I was helping my mom set up her Googles and smart TVs and things because she got new Wi-Fi and she didn't know how to update it. And I don't mind helping. She's my mom. She'll be 69 this year. And she's still significantly younger than the people that are in Congress making decisions about AI data centers, and she doesn't know how to update her Google. So that's a terrifying thought. But anyways, I had to go to her pictures to see her old Google password or whatever to update the new Wi-Fi. And the screenshots, it was just one Facebook misinformation meme after another Facebook misinformation meme. And it wasn't like I was trying to even find things to upset me. It's just there. And I even got my hopes up for a second because she had screenshotted like an entire article. from our local paper about SNAP benefits being cut, only to the very next one being, if you're upset about your SNAP being cut, you can blame Democrats for wanting to give health care to illegal aliens. And I just started to cry. And like, you have to understand, these people raised me. They would give anyone anything. I've seen it. The generosity to the poor and the dissonance that's required to align yourself with this administration. There is no other word but cult. There really isn't. There's no statistic I can send them, no article I can send them. There's nothing I can tell them. They have an answer. And it's so funny to me. I held it back and I was like, you know what? Every fight I've ever had with them has ended poorly. I'm never gonna change their mind on anything. They have decades and decades of white Christian nationalists feeding them theology and decades of Fox News feeding them propaganda. They're goners. But they're my parents. And it's hard. But I just kept going about updating her stuff, and then I was working on her printer and I had to pull it up, and there's more information memes. I was trying to find a picture to print, and it was breakdown of Trump's spending and Obama's spending, and it's like all of these inflated, taken out of context budget spending for a man that's been out of office for almost a decade, as if that somehow justifies building a ballroom, not giving people their SNAP benefits. And then there's like one, it's like a misinformation meme. It would take 10 seconds to Google these things. That's the craziest part of Hillary Clinton quoting about Trump would be a great president in 1994. One, she never said that. And two, you don't even like her. So what? Own the libs while everyone suffers? Like, And there was one that said, "Thank you, President Trump, for fighting like a dog for no money for the American people." What planet are you on? What planet? And then I just started sobbing. And she's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong? Did you see something on my phone?" Girl, quit playing with me. I'm just like, I gotta go home. Like, I gotta go home. Like, for my peace, like, I knew if I stayed, I was gonna fight, and it would be counterproductive. The only positive of the entire situation is that I made a 2025 bingo card, which so much fuckery is on it that I did not anticipate. But, and one of my little squares was choose peace over being right. That night, I was actually able to go home and check it off because I just went home. And she said, I don't even know much about I don't even keep up with politics, which MAGA loves to say. Oh, I just don't keep up with things. You had an awful lot of political screenshots on your phone for someone that doesn't keep up with politics. I said, I'm just running out of things to talk to you about, Mom. I don't know. I want to vent to you about how I'm worried about food insecurity for my patients and people in our community. I want to talk to you about how I'm worried about the state of this country for my children. I want to talk to you about current events, and I can't. Everything, when you are this, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing, everything is controversial. There's no topic left. I mean, we could talk about the weather, but then I don't know, you probably think that the Democrats are controlling the weather. I don't know. It's hard. It's so hard. And I know there's so many people that have it so much worse, and they're going to be like, oh, white women tears. Fair enough. But, like, I love my parents so much. And, like, it just sucks. Because maybe this is always who they were. I just didn't see it. Maybe it's just gotten so much worse. But it's like I'm grieving people that are alive. And people make jokes like, just gotta cut out your MAGA family. It's not that simple. And maybe it is for some people, but I'm so codependent with my parents, and I just want so desperately there to be one scripture verse or one video or one thing that'll just, like, flip a switch. Let them see that they're not living like the Christ that they raised me to love. They're hurting real people with their beliefs. They're hurting me. It just sucks, bro. It just sucks. It sucks having MAGA parents and MAGA siblings and MAGA grandparents and MAGA in-laws. I'm drowning out here, bro. It just sucks. Like, even to call human beings aliens. Like, it takes one simple Google search. The bill is right there. All of the things are right there. They don't want information. They want whatever aligns. It just sucks. I don't understand.
I deeply apologize for sharing this with you, but anyway, this is old Texas Paul. Hope your coffee is as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. Daniel Tochi, who was involved in January 6th and later pardoned of his crimes by Donald Trump, has just been convicted and sentenced for having 100,000 CSAM images, and police were horrified by the number of them that were toddlers. Toddlers. They only gave him 4 years. Yeah, I'm done for the day.
Make America Great Again was never about actually making this country great again. It was about propping up the voices of racist white people, while also simultaneously suppressing the voices of black and brown people that have been hurt by this country and the politics and the racism that exists in this country. And the whole concept of Make America Great Again was really make racism ignorable again. Because I see so many people, whenever I talk about racism online or with my white family, unfortunately, gaslight me or try to gaslight me from the fact that racism doesn't exist anymore and I'm just playing victim. And this is a very common thread that we see in the history of America, where black and brown people are gaslit while also simultaneously being traumatized by a system that profits off of the racism that they are being gaslit to believe that doesn't exist. And so we really have to start talking about what Make America Great Again really means, because the time that they are trying to go back to was really just a time in which they were not held accountable for their racist ideology and their racist actions.
So, I look like absolute hell. But I wanted to come on here and say that my heart is literally breaking for our country and for the people in it. I just had to walk out of a restaurant because she stood there trying to tell me that everything happening was the fault of Joe Biden. This person, and I'm not going to name him, this person who talks about God all the time, goes to church regularly, and voted for that thing. And that is what he is. He's not human. And if we want to get biblical, then maybe we are in the end times, because I do believe he and Musk are the Antichrist. They tried to raid an elementary school today in Chicago. ICE, they tried to raid it. Thankfully, the school wouldn't let them come in. But they tried. Those are children. Those are babies. They also have taken down the government website for reproductive rights. That's great. Let's just go ahead and kill women. What does it matter? Apparently, we don't matter. My children are living in a world with fewer rights than I had. This cannot stand the way it is. We have got to stand together in unity and not back someone who would demand an apology and belittle a bishop for saying nothing more than please have mercy on those who need it. I am so upset. What am I supposed to do with my friends and my family who voted for him? Who have put us in this position? They're saying they're going to defund the Department of Education. Well, there goes my job. I'm just a lowly little art teacher. You think they're going to keep art around when it goes back to the States? I work in a little high-poverty rural school. My job won't be there for me. It won't, because that'll be one of the first things they cut when they lose their funding. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a terrible video and I'm ugly crying on it. But we have got to make some changes because this is not my America and he is not my president. This world can't stand the way it is. It can't. So all us little people, we have got to figure it out. We've got to get together. And we've got to stand up for what's right. Because it's coming. It's coming. War is coming. And like I said, I can't talk to my best friend right now because I know that's how she voted. She's been my best friend since 1989. And I can't talk to her. And I got up today and I walked right out of that restaurant. Because she could sit there and tell me that this is the work of Democrats. This is not about that. This is about doing what is decent, about doing what is compassionate, about having some humanity in this world. Do we not think that this world is hard enough? It is hard to live, and it just got exponentially worse. So if anybody's got any advice on how to deal with our MAGA friends and family, I don't know that we should just cut ties. I don't know. We're supposed to be kind and compassionate and caring, and that doesn't seem like a very kind and caring thing to do. But I'm at a loss. I won't set foot in the church. I won't. Because most of them sitting there are hypocrites. You're going to sit there and listen to scripture and then be behind kicking all these immigrants out. And, we learned about Ellis Island in elementary school. Jesus said for us to love everyone. This is not how Jesus would act. So if you're calling yourself a Christian, you need to really sit there and evaluate what you're doing in this world. Because this ain't it. This ain't it.
MAGA is a fascist movement. And if you disagree with me, hopefully this video can change your mind. I am about to demonstrate for you how MAGA completely ascribes themselves to one of the most foundational and fundamental beliefs of fascist ideology, that the individual only has value insofar as they can benefit the state. I'm going to read you a couple of passages from the Doctrine of Fascism from Giovanni Gentili, the architect of fascist ideology. The fascist conception of the state is all-embracing. Outside of it, no human or spiritual values can exist, much less have value. That's one passage. Let's read it a second. For fascism, the state is absolute, individuals and groups relative. Individuals and groups are admissible insofar as they come within the state. So practically, what does that mean? Well, let's look at MAGA. Over the last month, I have really realized how closely MAGA ascribes to this belief. Despite claiming to have Christian values and believing that every individual has value because they are a creation of God and they are brothers in Christ, MAGA is completely okay with allowing undocumented immigrants to bleed out in emergency rooms because they would be a drain on our taxes. And it makes perfect sense because in this fascist ideology, an individual is only valuable so far as they benefit the state. And if you are a drain on American tax resources and you yourself are not part of our in-group as an American, you do not matter. You have no value, even negative value. You can look at the votes that Donald Trump has been extrajudicially executing off the coast of Venezuela. These are individuals. They have not been tried. They are not combatants in a war, but Donald Trump feels it's appropriate to strike those boats and kill everyone on the boat. Now, that's okay to MAGA and the MAGA followers because those people only have value insofar as they benefit the United States. And if they're importing the United States, they're not only a benefit, but they are a liability, meaning their life has no value. It doesn't matter to them that not all of these men have been given their day in court, that they're not combatants of an enemy army, that they're just criminals. They're cartel members. Within a fascist state, it can be. This brings us back to World War II Germany. Eugenics. Eugenics is an incredible example of this. If you are not benefiting the state, then you have no value. So if you are someone with mental disabilities or mental illness or a homosexual or someone who the Germans believe to be detrimental to the health of the state, then your life isn't valuable to them anymore. You need to be expunged. You need to be eradicated. The country needs to be cleansed of your presence. And the scariest part is that if you were to ask a lot of MAGA if they believe that the good of the state comes before all else, they'd probably say yes. And this is not just some random feature of fascism that I'm cherry picking. This is one of the core tenets. This is one of the base beliefs of their ideology. And MAGA absolutely ascribe to this. MAGA, I want you guys to explain to me how, in your Christ-loving minds, you can be okay with the extrajudicial murder while also thinking that those are your brothers in Christ. Those are probably Catholic men, by the way. Also, I would like you to tell me, if you had the decision, if you had a final say, and you had an immigrant in front of you in a hospital who was bleeding out, and they needed their life to be saved, they are in the emergency room, they are going to die without this care. Do you think it's appropriate to turn them away just because they're undocumented? Because they don't have the right type of paperwork? Because they would be a drain on the system, even though they're most likely paying taxes? Do you think that your compassion is only reserved towards Americans and those who benefit the state? Or do you think that all human beings have a baseline dignity that you should respect? If you think the second thing, maybe MAGA isn't for you after all.
Hello, good people. So, MAGA movement feels like it's falling apart because it's falling apart. So, I did another round of research on how cults and other crazy movements fall apart. This movement fall apart in levels, and we know this because it's already happened once before in history. In Germany, in World War II, the Germans who supported this regime in World War II did not support this regime all at once. They all left in different reasons. MAGA is following a similar pattern. Here are these levels of MAGA and how they will each fall apart every time. Level 1, the casual MAGA. These are people who flew the MAGA and went to the rallies. They were rarely 100% into the cult. They just like being on the winning team for once. Psychologist Henry Tyfel at the University of Bristol spent decades studying why people join political and social groups and why they stay even when these groups hurt them. He called it social identity theory. Tyfel found out people with low commitment to a group stay only as long as the group makes them feel like. Let me know what you think of the comments about this on the comment section. I'll reply to some of the comments. Thank you guys for watching. I'm your host here, The Dokistan. Don't forget to subscribe and leaving a comment at the same time. Forget to share. Don't forget to share to your friends too. Thank you guys. Bye. Meet you in my next video.